Hi guys, this is going to be a quick share of the books that we picked up from our first library visit. In my 8th grade curriculum video, I forgot to mention that for literature, that's how we are going to, get books for them to read throughout the school year. Earlier on in my homeschool journey, at the beginning of the school year, I used to purchase books, whether it's based on social media, blogs, books like by the one like by Jim Trelease, and books like that usually have recommendations for kids by different grades and ages, and I think those are all really great resources. However, for me and my kids, I have just found that over the years I found myself ending up with a lot of books that they just did not want to read, that I actually spent good money on. So now there's just a couple other ways that I try to get books for them, and maybe some of that might be helpful. Now, when it comes to the library, I do want to put the disclaimer that I live really close to the library that I go to. Earlier on in my homeschool journey, that wasn't the case, and when I would hear other people say that they were going to the library so often, I would feel, a little bit like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. So I just wanted to be transparent about that. I live really close to my library. So because of that, that is something that I can do. I don't go during the summer months anymore though. I just go during the school term, and our library allows for them to keep the books 2 weeks. Most times I extend that to 4 weeks. So most times they end up keeping the books for a month. Now I do that so that they can really enjoy the book. If it's a book that they actually enjoy. Not all the time they will, every visit they will end up with books that they really enjoy. So I would usually extend it for 4 weeks, and then if they really like a book, then I would purchase the book. So that's a book that they have in their home library that they can enjoy. And I have a couple books. Well, they have a couple books that I know they have read. Some of them they have read probably like 3-4 times, right? So I prefer that way of sourcing books, and because they would find a book that the author wrote that they enjoy, that usually leads to them purchasing whether it's a series or the books, written by that author. And that has worked out much better for us. Another thing, but I used to do this more before than I do now, and that is going to the thrift store. I haven't gone in a year, but I do intend to go within the next couple weeks, or next few months, I should say. Let me extend it. I don't go as much anymore because there was another issue that was attached to going to get chapter books when I used to go to the thrift store, and I would find myself looking at all that great resources just watching me on the shelves in the thrift store, and a lot of it will end up in my cart and in my home. And it is good resources, but I just didn't have the time to use it. So because of that, I don't go as often anymore. And it wasn't a matter, when I say a lot, it wasn't like ridiculously a lot, but we have a small-ish schoolroom, and clutter is a thing that I am trying to manage. And I just wanted to put a curb to that. So even though the thrift store, I think, is a really good resource as well, because you're not paying most times, because the thrift stores are getting pretty expensive. Most times you're not paying that much for the books, but you kind of have to keep that in mind. If it is, you can have super self-control and just pick up exactly what you're going for, then great. But if not, I would caution going to the thrift store. It's very it's not a safe place for a homeschool mom. All right. So anyway, so I'll share the books now, what it is they picked up, and in the order that they like it. Right. They haven't necessarily request any books, like ask me, Mommy, can I get this book? Because that's what usually happens. So even though there are some books here that they really enjoyed, none of these are going to result in us actually making an actual purchase. Oh, and I did want to say that I do have like a little card system set up for them, so that the books that we get from the library, it's always like separate and in a safe place, so that even though we're keeping it, and I'm saying that so that maybe that would be helpful, even though they're keeping it for a lengthy period of time, it's always in a place that is easy to retrieve. All right, so anyway, so I'll share those books now. All right, so I asked them to put it in the order that they enjoyed it, so I'm going to try and share it in that order. Now she has read through these already because we got them on the 25th today of August. Today is the 4th of September. All right, so at this stage, I'm more concerned with them reading. I have no concern really if it is a classic or not. I just want her to enjoy, to, develop the love for reading. She actually really enjoys books from the Pokemon series, Tales of Sasha and Itty Bitty Princess, and wants it's content that I'm okay with, and I would consider myself, kind of medium picky, if that's a term, then I'm totally fine with it. She owns books from these series, but she didn't ask for any of these. The Pokemon School Challenge, I swear she read this before. Tales of Sasha the Plant Pixies, Tales of Sasha the Royal Island, and Itty Bitty Princess Kitty T42. And all of them have just a few black and white pictures sprinkled in between. So they are picture books. All right. So this is what she has enjoyed for her first library visit. These are the books that my 8-year-old picked out, and why at this stage. My goal is just to encourage them to just enjoy the books that they enjoy reading, and just encourage that, because I used to have to encourage her to read so much, and now I don't have to tell her to read at all. And that's my goal. So at this stage, my goal, especially for her and my 8-year-old, is just encourage them to read the books that they enjoy, and over time, including books that might be a little bit more challenging for them. Well, this year they actually are reading through, both my 8 and my 10-year-old are reading through the Who Was series. Well, we own most of those books, so they will be reading through those for social studies this year. So that will provide, like individual reading that has a little bit more substance to it. So I'm perfectly fine with them picking out a lot of, well, for her, it will be fairy books. For my younger one, more so like graphic novels, and well, the Tales of Sasha. But anyway, so she is reading through this. She has a lot of books by this Never Girls, this series from the Never Girls. So she's reading through this one right now, A Never Girls Adventure to the Forgotten Castle. And she still has the Never Girls on the Trail to read. And all of these have, same thing, a few pictures in between. So that's what she is reading right now. And these are the ones that she has finished. Disney Fairies, a masterpiece for Bess. The Never Girls, A Fairy's Fire. The Never Girls in the Game. The Never Girls Into the Waves. Rainbow Magic, Sky, the Blue Fairy. Never Girls, The Last Journey. Rainbow Magic, Evelyn, Mermacorn Fairy. Rainbow Magic, Blossom, Flower Girl Fairy. Rainbow Magic, Floaty, I think that's a Lamb Fairy. The Never Girls Adventure Through the Dark Forest. And A Never Girls Adventure Beyond Neverland. Right, so she enjoys a lot of fairy books, but I'm totally fine with that at this stage. All right, and these are the books that my 12-year-old has chosen. Now, for her, most of the books she would naturally gravitate to. However, at this stage, I have started encouraging her to pick out maybe 2, sometimes 3 books that would be considered more so classics. Because I don't have a good reference as to what books would be commonly read, whether it's in high school or college here, since I didn't go to school here. This year, what I did was looked up a list of like books that are commonly read at those stages, so that we have started going through and reading reviews and stuff for those books to try to pick out a few from some of those lists that I printed out for her to actually read through, so that she would have read through some books that are commonly read by kids her own, at this stage. So anyway, so she has read through these. Maybe she would read through 1 or 2 of them again before it's time for her to carry back to the library. She enjoys these Minecraft books a lot, but I guess she doesn't feel like she needs to own this one. Anyway, Minecraft, The Haven Trials, Caterpillar Summer, and none of these books have any pictures in them. Princess Juniper of Tor, and they are in the order that she enjoyed them. These Unlucky Stars, The Kicks in the Zone. She actually enjoyed a lot of the books from this series. I guess this one not as much. Daring Darlene, Queen of the Screen. Anne of Windy Poplars. I was hoping that she would have enjoyed some of these Anne Gables books, but these two, not so much. And this one, she found the plot to be a little bit all over the place, I guess. Anyway, Anne of Avonlea. All right, but that's just her opinion. Of course, it will be different for everybody. And then I almost forgot these two that I picked up for myself. Usually when I go to the library, I just focus on the kids. But I told myself I wanted to, you know, like look at resources that I may be looking at, if I can find them at the library first before just purchasing them. Because over the years, I've gathered so many teacher resources, some that I'm able to make good use of, but a lot of it, it just ends up staying on my shelf, and it spends more time on my shelf than in my hands. And you know, things cost money. So this is the back of it, and I'll just show you the table of contents, because that's usually really helpful to kind of get an idea of what it has in the book. It's a pretty, you know, sizable book, and I only have it for a short time. My intention is just to skim through it. So that's that. And then this college admissions book. And both of them gets decent rating on Amazon as well, which, you know, is helpful. I've been trying to look around at different websites. Ooh, okay, that's let me fix my screen. Okay, that was getting blown out the color just now, so I just have to fix that. But anyway, all right, and this is the table of contents in this one. I don't know why my color is adjusting like that. Okay. This side. So just to get an idea as well before I decide if I'm going to pull the trigger. So these two I picked up for myself. How do you find books for your kids to read? Do you go to the library? Do you just buy books based on age or grade? Do you get it like in a box curriculum? Like, how do you get books for your kids to read? Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you in another video. Bye.